Hello, my name is Christopher Codeweiss. Today I'll be reviewing for you a book called The Very Lonely Firefly by Carle. So a picture book, huh? Well, not only are they fun to look at, but there's a lot of thought and depth put into them. The overall theme of the book is one seemingly geared towards children, with such phrasing as "a little firefly was born and it stretched its wings and flew." It suggests that the firefly is a symbolic reference to a child. This is where it gets really deep, but it probably depends on your definition of depth. The firefly is searching connection to something or someone. Now this is where I get confused on the theme a little. In the end, he finds a group of others like him, all while turning away those who he meets on the path that are different from him, perceivingly abusive or aggressive in a certain sense. On one hand, this is a story of overcoming adversity when sticking to the perception portrayed by the firefly himself, or itself, sorry. On the other hand, looking through a more modern lens, those who are different from oneself should not be interacted with. This adversity is seen through abrasive and abrupt interactions with creatures and characters in the illustrations. They react to the firefly's presence by quiet out there and hisses and groans, especially from the cat and the dog. Soichiro Honda once said, "Success is 99% failure." This firefly had surpassed 10 encounters of this type with other creatures before encountering a flock of his own, or a swarm of his own fireflies, if you will. This is where the message becomes more opaque, however. Is it supposed to teach kids to push past adversity until they find what they are looking for? When searching for those like us, we turn away those who don't fit this mold, possibly misperceiving those actions of the others to be more abrupt or abrasive than we would normally. Explaining that the firefly saw many lights and flew toward them, but none of which were fireflies, possibly portraying that there were many things for the firefly to connect with at some point, but the firefly had not been tolerant of them. I believe that the confusion in the interpretation of this book is due to the fact that this book had been written in 1995, and it was seemingly a different societal environment at that point. Through a modern lens, and interpreting it in a modern lens can't simply be done due to the fact that it was written in such a different time period. I believe that the confusion in the interpretation of the theme of this book is a side effect that it was written in a seemingly different societal environment of 1995, which isn't that long ago. But if you think about it, there has been a push for more towards acceptance and tolerance in modern times, and seeing that and interpreting it through that lens, it fails in a certain sense to push forward the notion of more tolerance and more acceptance that we have come to familiarize ourselves with in modern culture. In such a world that includes writing articles on such tolerance and acceptance, written from an excerpt from an article from the Daily Carolinian. A series of posters professing hate speech towards pro-Palestinian activists were removed from campus, prompting an aggressive dialogue about the definition of hate speech. Now, I'm not advocating for hate speech per se. This is just an example portraying a social environment, the modern social environment, in which those who speak against tolerance are subsequently not tolerated for speaking their opinion. It's a paradox, if you will, and it's not what one we're getting into. But from this environment, we can see this book in a completely new light.